All right, we're out here day 2, and I'm a little bit tired. It's 8 o'clock in the PM, just had a full day. That's all right. We gotta get the rest of this suspension taken off now. I've gone ahead, I've gotten quite a ways in there. I still gotta take the thermostat off, gotta put the new thermostat on. I'm trying to figure out if I'm gonna do that before or after the engine mounts. Gotta take the battery out. Gotta have Julie help me hold the steering wheel, so that way I can get it the nut off that holds the knuckle or the U-joint for the steering control. And it's being held by that seat belt still, but I need a little bit of extra holding. So let's not waste much time. You just got to power through when it comes to times like this. Shouldn't be too bad to get this stuff off. I've been oiling it up with some PB Blaster here and there. Sold the 3-wheeler, by the way. Did I tell you guys that? That's going down the road. We're going to deliver that on April 4th coming up. So that's pretty neat. It's kind of sad to see it go to Dad's wheeler, but it is time. So good stuff. Didn't sell it in the one video, but we sold it a little bit after, about a week and a half after we put it up for sale. Definitely starting to come together or get taken apart, however you want to say it. Well, this is the end of day, we can call it 3. I've probably put about 10 to 12 hours in on this project so far. And the biggest problem for me is just getting up and down off the cement floor. It's laid out again per usual. Crystal's in the shop with me again tonight. And this is where we're at. All started with the leaky steering rack right there. This side right here, the boot was torn. It was leaking fluid because the seal was blown out, obviously. This side might have been leaking too, not for sure. I had to drop the differential completely off. I couldn't even just loosen it up over here. And it's got 3 mount points, there, and there. And I couldn't just loosen up, well, this is a mount point as well. But I couldn't just loosen these up and then twist it down because I couldn't get this thing to fit out. It was just too tight. Too many things were grabbing. Yeah, I got it out with the tie rod ends on because those are so rusted. Could have probably got that one loose. Possibly gotten that one. I don't know if I could have grabbed it with this little spot right here. Could have worked on it for a while. You got the sway bar out, the control arm. These bolts right here, if you're having a problem where they're seized into the bushings, I had to cut mine with a Sawzall. A plasma cutter would have worked a lot better. They look like this. They're about $50 from O'Reilly, I think. So I'm gonna have to order one new of those. I think you can order them individually. We've got the spring and strut assembly out. And we've got our quick struts right there. Tie rod ends, bushings, all that stuff. We're gonna put new bushings on right here, like I said before. Got quite a bit of power steering fluid down there. That's actually transmission fluid that we run on these CRDs in the transmission or in the steering assembly. So that is hanging down. I still got to take the strut out of there. Got the brake caliper hanging off of it, and I got to take that control arm off as well. Got a control arm right there. We got our coolant. Since I have the differential out, just to give you a quick little peek, you can see down here I've got the power steering lines disconnected. They have mount points 1, 2, 3. There's another one right over here. Just 10s, 8s, 10s and 9s, I think. So I had to move those out of the way so I could get it out. Way deeper than I wanted to go. But what do you do? I can see how easily things just get behind. And once they get so far gone, it's just not worth it anymore. I've got a whole bunch of bushings to do. I've got ball joints to do. The brake calipers, brake pads probably could be replaced since I got it out. all of that stuff. Thank you guys so much for being here. I'm a little dirty. I'm gonna go take a shower and go to bed. Good night, Crystal. Well, another day gone by. It's actually sunny out today. It's a no school, no work day because we got some weather coming in. It's actually coming in today and tomorrow. So that gives us an opportunity to maybe get some work done here. You still want to spend good time with your family though, so try not to neglect your family. They're more important than this type of stuff, but we do got to get this daily driver running. I think I'm going to have to take the four-wheel drive off of this Liberty here, this 05, and put it on our 06 so we can make a 3.5-hour trip to deliver the three-wheeler. And that'll give us just a little bit more time so we can continue down our normal road routine. You know what I'm talking about. So I'm going to take the new rack and pinion, which is right over here somewhere. Pay no attention to the mess over here. I'm trying to get stuff cleaned up so I can make space for a brand new workbench. Thinking about making it myself so that way I can roll it out and kind of talk to you guys from behind it. Specifically for that differential build over there, that would be pretty neat to do. Your rack and pinion comes with this book where it says, please read. It's assuring everything is in good shape from factory. It's got a couple cotter keys, cotter pins. Let's not lose those. We've got a little seal. I think we've got another seal. Yeah, we do. We've got two of them in here. So one for each connection for the power steering. Can you guys even see me? I might be stepping out of view there. They're both the same size. Not sure what the cotter pins are for, or cotter keys. Keep in mind I bought this from O'Reilly Auto Parts. Installation instructions for power rack and pinion steering gear. Proper service and repair procedures are important for safety and reliability. We understand that. Airbag restraint system must be disabled for equipped vehicles. Let's see, that is because of why. I'm not exactly sure. We disconnected the battery a long time ago. This one's probably not smart enough to have anything like that really happen. I suppose if that clock spring gets twisted too far. These kits are designed to replace worn or non-functional original equipment parts in the vehicle as produced by the manufacturer. These parts are not designed for installation on vehicles where the suspension or steering system have been modified for racing or other purposes. I'm just making sure we're following all the steps. Remove existing O-rings. Verify the steering wheel is exactly straight ahead. The remanufactured rack is centered at the factory. Do not turn the spline shaft since this will change the spline's orientation. Important power steering system should be flushed. Yep, we got that. Let's go ahead and cut this thing out. This says all port threads were in good condition upon remanufacturing. All fittings and adapter torques are not to exceed 20 foot-pounds are the OEM specifications. Some fittings are designed to allow the line to swivel even after torquing. So that makes sense because they weren't torqued down very much. I believe I used a standard wrench, 5/8, 5/16, something to that effect. We'll figure it out when we get there. There's where our first bolt goes and our second bolt. This is where the bushings sit right up here and the bolts go right through. This right here is for the power steering line. There's a couple small bolts. So we are going to take those out so we can put our power steering system in. I wonder if that's going to sit on top or just right beside it. We're going to have to figure that out. It might just sit right beside it. These bolts are pretty rusty. I'm going to put them right there so I know which side they go. See, we got to clean that up a little bit. We can put some anti-seize on that as well. We just want to get that power steering rack in. Should be fairly easy. I got to lay down on the floor. This is the part that I have a tough time with because I'm a little bit older than some. No big deal. Okay, before I get ahead of myself, I got to make sure I put these poly bushings in. Remember, don't push on your rack because you're going to possibly turn it from being center. We do not want to do that. As a matter of fact, let's see here. It'd be really great if they would have put some markings in so we could know. We're just going to see purple is lined up with that spot right there. Let's get these old bushings out. They're not old, they're new, but you know what I'm saying. How are we going to get this? There we go. Coming right out. Are we about out of there? No? There we go. So here's your inner piece. You can always save this for a different application if you want to. If you want to put it on your other Jeep. Pulls right out like that. Very good. Crystal, please don't touch that. This doesn't have any assembly grease that I can tell. So you know it slides on there, kind of tough. Let me show you guys this. Crystal is always around. She loves this. Just don't turn the steering wheel, okay? So there's that. You can see that. These are perfectly good, but we are upgrading. Crystal, I'm gonna put you down. Be a little wet and crusty from the outside snowstorm. There's your inside. Come on out. There we go. You zoom in on that a little bit. Goes right in. There we go. At Creative Steel, they give you this assembly lube, which is perfect. You're gonna need it. You got a little slit there? Yes, we do. No, there's a certain way these go. Crystal, I love you, but you gotta get down for just a little bit. Thank you very much. So we're going like this. So make sure we go the same type of way. Okay. Yep. Just like that. You're gonna go down. We're doing it. First one is going in. Boy, this almost makes it stickier, to be honest. I'm not so sure about this. What are the odds you think if I walk away, Crystal's gonna come up and knock this whole thing down? I got some different grease that I think I'm gonna use instead. Actually feels less slippery now that I put that on. Stand by, I'll be right back. All right, look at that. She didn't knock it down. I got my grease can here from O'Reilly. I just want to show you guys that. I'm going to use this. We're going to do half of ATF and half acetone in this. And it kind of works like PB Blaster or liquid wrench, that type of stuff. But in the meantime, we're going to see if this super lube works a little better than that stuff. Maybe that stuff isn't bad. I'm not sure. I just got a better feeling about seeing what this will do. Multi-purpose synthetic grease with silicone, so it's not petroleum based, so it shouldn't wear out rubber bushings, stuff like that. Not that we have to worry about these. I'm just looking for a little bit of lubricant here on this. It's about $10 a tube at Harbor Freight. Just a heads up. See how this stuff works. Yeah, this stuff is that other stuff might just be getting a little old from sitting, I'm not sure, but this stuff makes it slippery. The other stuff made it pretty tacky. I'm a fireman. That's my name. So there's that one. That one's through. All right, we're good. Good job. I think that's actually good because this stuck out just a little tiny bit. So it's sticking out about the same as that right there. Kind of learning as I go here. Let me clean my hands off. We'll zip all this stuff up. Then we're going to put it in the Jeep. How you guys doing today, by the way? Knees. My biggest fear when doing this job was not having the steering wheel lined up correctly, but I think we're going to be A-OK. Are you ready? Okay-ty ready. How do we want to do this here? Top to bottom or bottom to top? Differential's out of the way, so we're going to go from the bottom up, and I'm going to grab one of the bolts so that way I can put it in there. Don't trip. There's the big bolt. Okay, wish me luck. Thank you very much. Here we go. Don't mess up. Okay. Don't mess up. That's a good idea. This is shiny and new. Shiny and new is not always a good thing because that means someone installed it and may have installed it improperly. Okay, keep in mind I got a jack over here, a jack over here, and a jack stand as well on each side. This is going to be your power steering filter right here, I do believe. Use your squint goggles if you need to. Hope that power steering line isn't leaking. Is it? No way. Hopefully not. What is that? That's not too bad to replace that power steering pump. It's like, it is right here. Now would probably be the time to replace that. Sometimes I wonder what I've gotten myself into. But other than not having a ton of space and having parts everywhere, we're okay. Yeah. I am not as strong as I used to be. How about you guys? You're probably stronger than me. Yep. Okay, where are we? I don't know, does this go over? I don't know, I can't remember. This goofy line likes to come up and get in the way. But we're just gonna nonchalantly go over it. Come on. What's your matter here? Just a pain. Come on. Let's do this here. Stop. You stop it. Getting there. Home stretch, hopefully. There we go. We're up and in. Bolt head goes on top. Come on, I know you can do it. We're in on one side. I'm gonna go up top, straighten it out from there. Looks like we did okay. These threads over here look like they're a little bit out of sorts. I mean, I can't believe that. You see me, I wasn't roughhousing anything. I was being very careful. Hopefully the tie rod end thread's on okay. Grab myself a little bit of Permatex anti-seize lubricant. This is not the same stuff as I was using. This is gonna go on the inside. Just gonna be on the bolt here. So that way, if I ever need to take this steering rack off again, they'll come right out of those bushings. You don't need a lot, just a little bit is fine. It goes a long ways. Also, I guess what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put some on the shaft of this. I will tell you the bolts that I have taken off, that I've already been working with, they come out so much easier because they have anti-seize on them. And it's not like they've shaken loose or anything like that. It's just that they're actually coming out versus remaining stuck. See if I can get this to line up. There we go, that one's in. We're gonna take the other one out. Now we'll do the same thing. Look at this. Crystal she takes advantage of every opportunity she can, right, Crystal? So I don't think you guys are gonna be able to see too well. Here's a 15/16 that I'm gonna go up on top to hold the top of that bolt, and then I'm going to be on the nut down here. So that way we can torque these down. I don't know what the torque specs are right at the moment, so I'm just going to get them tight. You put anti-seize on these at your own risk, of course, because I know that there's going to be people that say don't do that. I haven't had any problems with it. For right or for wrong, couldn't tell you. Switch it on over here to the other side. All right, I'm gonna go get those torque specs and I'll be right back. We'll finish this off. Okay, so I took a look and those bolts that hold the rack and pinion on, bolts to the steering gear and the frame, those are 120 foot-pounds. So we're going to torque those down to 120 foot-pounds. As far as this bolt right here, this is going to be the bolt that goes to your knuckle, which connects to the rack and pinion. So this is when you steer, this is your nut that holds your knuckle joint, or U-joint, whatever you want to say, to the actual rack and pinion itself. I looked through the owner's manual and I could only find 36 foot-pounds. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna clean this up a little bit, and then I'm gonna put some thread locker on it. That should be good. Medium grade thread locker should be fine. Yeah, we'll pray about that, right? Don't want this nut to come off ever. You don't want anything to go wrong with your suspension. It's not a good thing. Don't leave it loose, whatever you do. Let's clean this up a bit. Always wear glasses when you work on this. Don't just squint. That could get a guy in trouble. We are done with this anti-seize. Don't get any of this on this bolt. Yep, there we go. Forget about those and smash them into the hood, probably. Why aren't you going on? There, little guy. I think I'm gonna have to take this screwdriver and open it up just a little bit. It's got that squeeze on it from all the years of being tight. Just make it a little bit more open so I can fit it over without breaking anything. That would be good. All right, well, like anything, the nightmare is trying to come true. Don't sweat the small stuff. Do a little research. You're going to be fine. Here's what I'm up against. So this said that it was centered from the factory on the box. That's good. But I'm trying to get this to line up. I've got the steering wheel perfectly straight. That is still in the same position. I had Julie come in. I had her move it just a little bit, but it's like way off. It's not even close because it's oblong. So I'm going to have to turn this thing one way or another a half a revolution to try to get it to fit that knuckle on there. In my opinion, that can't be right. So what I'm doing is this. You can see down here I've got the light, I've got the steering shaft right there. The knuckle is just behind it. Steering wheel is still straight up there. You can't see it, but I can. Then I've got this extension right here. And what I've done is I have turned all the way to the left. Lefty-loosey. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and I'm going to mark the shaft. And then I'm going to go all the way back the other way and hope that I can see where it stops so I can mark the shaft again. And I'm going to count how many revolutions we do as well. Are you ready? Okay, I don't know if I'm going to be able to video this for you. Maybe I can. Now, please consult your owner's manual or someone else before you take my advice alone. All right? Good call. Okay, so I am going to just find a way to mark this. I'm just sneaking in here. I don't know if you guys can see. Let's brighten this up a little bit. There we go. Let's see here. We're all the way. I am just going to, I'm going to mark, where should I mark at? I suppose anywhere is fine. We're going to put a mark right there. And then we're going to put a mark right there. Now we're going to spin it back the other way. And we're going to count the rotations too. Are you ready? Here we go. Oh, other way. Switch. Switch it up. 1, 2, 3. All right, so that's about 3.5. There's 3 right there. Actually, right there is 3. Now we're going to keep going. 3.5, and unfortunately, it's all the way on the other side, so I cannot see it unless I get my head up in there. Of course, it would be better if it was out, so I'm actually going to have to estimate here. Great. It's going right there. Oh boy. I am going to see if I can crawl up in there and take a look. All right? Of course. Oh yeah. There's no way I'm getting my head up there. Oh, okay. Yeah. You guys see me? Uh-huh. Where is it? Oh. I'm blinded. I'm blind by that light. Can I reach it? Oh yeah, look at that. I'm gonna turn that up by you guys for just a second. Okay, I can see it. I think. Hang on. Uh-huh. Come here. Come on down. Wow. Unreal. I will be cooked if this thing lets go. There it is. Perfect. Drop my pen cap. That's okay. Lord, watch over me as I do this. Uh-huh. Okay. Right there. Now, I don't know if that's right, is it? Yeah, looks pretty good. Okay, let's go. Down we go. Down we're going. Okay. I can actually see it, which is wonderful. So it's right on the other side. There's a purple mark right in there. And I think that's what they probably did. That purple mark is probably dead center. At least allegedly. You might not be able to see it. Where's the other light? Uh-huh. Okay. Shine, shine, shine. Okay. I can see it. Let me just see if that looks correct here. Oh yeah, that's right. Looking good. Stay. You're seeing it here firsthand. A guy trying to get his steering rack aligned. So we're gonna mark right there. Are you ready? I'm not. I'm glad you guys are. We are going to mark right in the middle. We're going to say it's about right there. That's our dead center, allegedly. We'll find out one way or another when we take it to the alignment shop. So let's go from the center here. Okay, there's the center. We're going to switch. We're going to go 1 and 1.75. Perfect. Ready? 0.75. 1. Now let's go 1. Now we should go another 0.75. 0.75. Look at that. Now we want to go back. We're doing it. 0.75 and 1. So there we go. We're going to put it right there. Of course I cannot see that. So I'm going to just judge right there. There it is. There's our center point. As far as I can tell, I'm not claiming to have it right, but I believe it's right. Let's get this off. And now let's see if our knuckle fits on. Yeah, man, see, that's center. So what is the deal here? That is center, but this is not. I mean, the knuckle is not going to go on. Okay, where'd I leave off? I don't even remember. Okay, I was working on the shaft, right? It wasn't lining up, so we went through the whole process. Now I'm remembering. And you guys seen us get the 1.75 one way, 1.75 the next way, got it leveled out, right dead center as far as we could tell. And it lined up with the original center mark that I had put down. I don't know what I was looking at, but the knuckle, it was in the right orientation. It lined up perfectly. So that means the steering wheel is straight, the knuckle is on, I got it torqued down. That nut calls for 35 or 36 foot-pounds. I went to 35. It's tightened up. Using the Harbor Freight torque wrench. Be careful with these. I don't necessarily trust them, and I get a lot of stuff from Harbor Freight. I would much rather have a torque wrench that is trustworthy, expensive, because it's trustworthy. But it did torque down to 35 foot-pounds without breaking anything off, so that's great. I had Julie come in, we did the rotations, we got equal rotations on both sides. I'm really excited. I feel like I'm smarter than I was 20 minutes ago, which is great, not in a boastful kind of way. And now we need to torque these down to 120 foot-pounds. Those are the big nuts, big bolts right down here. And then we're gonna put the lines on. and then I'll show you what we're looking at. Right down here in my coolant only bottle, I'm leaking some coolant right down there beside it, but I'm not trying to put coolant in there. I've got that gray funnel going right up here. And that's because I'm putting some air pressure to the system. This is just one hose that runs down right down into that bucket right there. So we have flushed out the reservoir and that line. The other line drained out really good when I disconnected it. So we are gonna call that flushed out. My face is pretty dirty. Sorry guys. I'm excited to be finishing up here. I didn't get those bolts torqued down yet, but we are gonna do it. All right, you guys want the good news? The bad news. The good news is I think we're good. Bad news is I was down here messing with a bunch of stuff and torquing down those rack and pinion bolts and didn't have the record button on. Maybe it wasn't interesting. Anyways, we're just gonna go with that. I have got everything down here hooked up. We've got the knuckle hooked up. We've got our lines right there. You don't want to torque these down very much. I was torquing it down and I just gave it one extra ooga dooga and I started to bend and disform this fastener nut. So don't do that. We should still be just fine. The other one down there below, I took it a little bit easier on it. They call for 20 foot-pounds of torque. You can't really tell, so you're just estimating. Both bolts torqued down. We are centered out still, so that's good for our tie rods. These are the caps that came off of that rack and pinion. Old rack and pinion over there is worth, I don't know, 100 bucks, 150 bucks. It's worth a decent amount of money. So I can take that back into O'Reilly. So that'll be good. Crystal, she's sleeping. My wife just texted me and said that it's time for supper. So that's gonna do it for today. I really appreciate you guys being here. We are walking through this. There's no power steering fluid in there. Just put the cap on here. I am not going to be able to fully test this out for leaks until we have it down on the ground and put back together enough to where we can start it up and run it. So you want to make sure you do everything as good as possible. Torque it down, not over torque it. I was guilty, I think, of attempting to over torque that fastener, that power steering line. I wasn't even really on it too hard, actually. So that's where we're at. All right, see you guys next time. From our garage to yours, I appreciate you. Have a good day or night. Look at that, I'm finishing and it's still daylight. Snow days. See you guys.